Throughout the course of human history, civilizations across the globe have grappled with unexplained phenomena that have caused immense suffering and anguish. From unexplained illnesses and natural disasters to strange occurrences that defy rational explanation, many ancient cultures attributed these baffling events to the meddling of malevolent supernatural entities. Known as demons in Western traditions or by various other names in other belief systems, these otherworldly beings were often blamed for tormenting individuals and whole communities, disrupting the social order, and even shaping the course of history. Though we may be tempted to dismiss such beliefs as primitive superstition, the fact remains that the idea of demonic forces interfering in human affairs has persisted across cultures and time periods. Perhaps there is more to these stories than mere fantasy. What if the demons that ancient civilizations grappled with were real phenomena, just described and understood differently through the lens of their cultural and religious beliefs? In this documentary, we will explore some of the most chilling and perplexing cases of alleged demonic activity from the ancient world. From the mysterious curses that plagued the builders of the Egyptian pyramids to the demonic possessions that terrorized medieval Europe, we will delve into the dark history of how supernatural forces were believed to have tormented humanity throughout the ages. Through first-hand accounts, historical records, and modern analysis, we will try to separate fact from fiction and uncover the truth behind these enduring legends of demonic influence. Our journey begins in the cradle of civilization, ancient Mesopotamia. The Sumerians, Babylonians, and Akkadians who inhabited this region developed one of the earliest and most sophisticated systems of demonology, with a vast pantheon of malevolent spirits believed to wreak havoc on the lives of humans. Chief among these were the 7 demons, a group of primordial entities that were said to cause madness, disease, and even death. According to Mesopotamian texts, the 7 demons were born of the primordial chaos that existed before the creation of the world. They were believed to be the first inhabitants of the underworld, a dark and lawless realm that was the antithesis of the ordered, civilized world above. From this shadowy domain, the 7 demons were said to constantly seek ways to breach the barriers between the supernatural and material realms, infiltrating the world of the living to torment and corrupt humanity. One of the most feared of the 7 demons was Pazuzu, a fearsome entity depicted as a winged, demonic figure with the body of a man, the head of a lion or dog, and the talons of an eagle. Pazuzu was believed to be the king of the demons of the wind, and was associated with famine, droughts, and plague. Ancient Mesopotamian texts describe Pazuzu as a malevolent force that could possess individuals, driving them to madness and self-destruction. The discovery of Pazuzu statues and amulets across the ancient Near East suggests that he was widely venerated, not out of reverence, but out of a desperate need to appease and ward off his wrath. Another member of the 7 demons was Lamashtu, a female entity depicted as a horrific, hybrid creature with the head of a lion, the body of a woman, and the feet of a bird of prey. Lamashtu was believed to prey on pregnant women and newborn infants, causing miscarriages, stillbirths, and sudden infant deaths. Pregnant women in ancient Mesopotamia would wear amulets and perform rituals to try to protect themselves and their unborn children from Lamashtu's malevolent influence. The ancient Mesopotamians believed that these 7 demons, along with countless other malevolent spirits, were the root cause of all manner of misfortunes and tragedies that befell their civilization. Outbreaks of disease, crop failures, natural disasters, all were attributed to the machinations of these demonic forces. To ward off their influence, the Mesopotamians developed an elaborate system of rituals, incantations, and protective talismans, all aimed at keeping the demons at bay. But the Mesopotamians were not alone in their struggle against the supernatural. Similar beliefs in malevolent spirits and demonic entities can be found across the ancient world, from the Egyptian underworld to the Hindu hells. In ancient Egypt, for example, the dead were believed to face a perilous journey through the underworld, where they would encounter a multitude of dangerous and capricious gods and demons. Chief among these was Amut, a fearsome creature with the head of a crocodile, the torso of a lion, and the hindquarters of a hippopotamus. Amut was tasked with devouring the souls of the unrighteous, and was greatly feared by the ancient Egyptians. Another prominent Egyptian demon was Apep, the embodiment of chaos and the archenemy of the sun god Ra. Apep was depicted as a massive serpent that sought to swallow the sun each night, plunging the world into eternal darkness. The ancient Egyptians would perform elaborate rituals and spells to try to ward off Apep's attacks, believing that his success would mean the end of the world as they knew it. Moving westward, we find similar themes of demonic forces tormenting ancient civilizations in the mythology of ancient Greece and Rome. The Greeks and Romans believed in a vast pantheon of gods and goddesses, but also acknowledged the existence of malevolent supernatural entities known as daimons. These daimons were seen as intermediate beings, neither fully divine nor fully human, that could influence the lives of mortals for good or ill. One of the most infamous Greek daimons was Medusa, a beautiful maiden who was transformed into a monstrous, snake-haired gorgon by the goddess Athena. Medusa's gaze was said to turn any who looked upon her to stone, and she became a symbol of the destructive power of the demonic forces that could corrupt and degrade the human form. The Greeks also feared other daimons such as the Erinyes, or Furies, vengeful female spirits who would relentlessly pursue and torment those who had committed grave sins or offenses. In the Roman tradition, we find the concept of the lemures, malevolent spirits of the dead that were believed to roam the earth, seeking to harm the living. The Romans would perform annual rituals known as the Lemuria to appease these restless spirits and ward off their malign influence. The fear of demonic forces was so pervasive in the ancient Roman world that the emperors themselves were sometimes believed to have been possessed by evil spirits, with disastrous consequences for their subjects. As we move further into the ancient world, we find that the belief in malevolent supernatural entities was not limited to the Mediterranean civilizations. In ancient India, the concept of Rakshasas, demonic beings that were said to feed on human flesh and blood, was a deep-seated part of Hindu mythology. These Rakshasas were believed to be the enemies of the gods, constantly seeking to disrupt the cosmic order and torment humanity. One of the most famous Rakshasas in Hindu lore was Ravana, the 10-headed king of Lanka who kidnapped the heroine Sita in the epic Ramayana. Ravana was described as a powerful sorcerer who commanded legions of demonic followers, using his dark powers to wreak havoc and destruction. The battle between the heroic Rama and the villainous Ravana became a foundational narrative in Hindu culture, underscoring the eternal struggle between good and evil, light and darkness. The ancient Chinese also had their own rich tradition of beliefs surrounding malevolent spirits and demons. In traditional Chinese folklore, entities known as gui were believed to be the restless spirits of the dead, often seeking vengeance or trying to inflict harm on the living. These gui were associated with a wide range of misfortunes, from illness and madness to natural disasters and social upheaval. One of the most feared gui in Chinese mythology was the jiangshi, a reanimated corpse that would hop around and attack the living, draining their life force. The jiangshi was often depicted as a green-skinned, glowing-eyed creature wrapped in the clothing of a Qing dynasty official. Legends of jiangshi infestations terrorizing villages and even whole regions were common in traditional Chinese folklore, and elaborate rituals and talismans were developed to ward off these demonic undead. As we venture further into the ancient world, we find that the belief in malevolent supernatural entities was a truly global phenomenon. In the pre-Columbian civilizations of the Americas, for example, we encounter figures like the Aztec Huitzilopochtli, star demons that were believed to descend from the heavens during solar eclipses to devour humanity. The Maya also had their own pantheon of dangerous underworld deities, such as the fearsome Arpach, Lord of the Dead, who was associated with disease, destruction, and the corruption of the mortal form. Even in the vastly distant civilizations of ancient Oceania, we find echoes of this universal human fear of demonic forces. In Maori mythology, for instance, the Waitiri were believed to be malevolent spirits that caused thunderstorms, while the Hawaiians feared the Akuaromilu, dark gods of the underworld who were said to drag the souls of the dead into their realm of eternal torment. Ultimately, the sheer ubiquity of these beliefs in malevolent supernatural entities across ancient culture suggests that there may be something deeply rooted in the human psyche that compels us to grapple with the forces of darkness and evil. Whether these demons were purely the product of human imagination or reflections of real phenomena that defied rational explanation, their hold on the collective consciousness of our ancestors is undeniable. But what exactly were these demons that so captivated and terrified the ancient world? Were they simply figments of superstitious imagination, or could they have been manifestations of real forces and phenomena that we have yet to fully understand? As we delve deeper into the historical records and archaeological evidence, we may find that the line between myth and reality is not as clear-cut as we might assume. One intriguing possibility is that at least some of these demonic entities described in ancient texts and legends may have been inspired by encounters with strange, unexplained phenomena that defied the scientific understanding of the time. For example, the winged, lion-headed figure of Pazuzu in Mesopotamian mythology bears a striking resemblance to certain types of pterosaurs, flying reptiles that went extinct millions of years ago. Could ancient Mesopotamians have encountered fossilized remains of these prehistoric creatures and interpreted them as the work of a malevolent supernatural entity?